Hey guys, Apotheosis here. I was finally able to kill Imae 12, and so I'm happy to talk to you about the theory crafting involved in this. So this is much more of a theory crafting discussion than an actual in-depth guide. I just don't have the time or the resources to put into a video like that right now. As soon as I can, I promise I'll make something a little bit more comprehensive than this. What you're looking at in the background right now are my kills today. The first one was using a Stella team, and the second one was using a Cookie team. And once again, I want to thank the man, the myth, the legend, TrollTarou for all of his work in helping us theory craft this video for global server. The basic premise of any team that's doing this right now is you need to buff Baron J's attack power to 91.6 thousand attack power. You can attain 0 magic defense on the boss when you land your defense break from your S2. And obviously 91,000 attack power is not something that we attain every day or with a usual Kartia setup. So we do have to go out of our way to set this up. The starter team to do this with is going to be using Karu's S3. She has a 30% chance when her teammates take a turn with that ability to give them 40% of her own attack power. And the interesting thing that's working in our favor here is that she's taking 40% of her current attack power. This is including after buffs. So this means that you're essentially snapshotting Karu's attack power and giving it to her allies. And because of this mechanic, you are able to reach attack numbers that your team wouldn't be able to attain without Karu's S3. The problem is you are relying on that RNG to proc for you to have success with this strategy. And it's not the only source of RNG that you're relying on. First, you need Kartia's roll to her max. Then you need Karu's buffs to proc on both of your damage dealers. So it's not just procking once, it's procking twice. And then you need your defense break to land on a boss that has, I think, 80% resistance to weaken effects, or 78. But that's not helping anything, and you're relying on more RNG to get that defense break to land. You can compensate for that part via turn swaps, but you have a limited window to do this in because Karu's buff duration from her S3 is only 2 turns. And I don't mean to discourage anyone from trying this. By all means, it is well worth the reward if you can pull it off because you gain access to those 3 set bonuses. So go do this, go try this if you're in the late game. Okay, if you've never rolled a Kartia card in your life, this video is not for you. You need to go do something else. If you are going to put in that effort to see if your account can pull this off, you need to min-max everywhere that you can. Your first focus is going to be on Baron and Kartia. Because they're epics, they're a lot harder to reach the ceiling that you need to pull off a successful attempt. So you want to make sure that you have the max transcended. You want to use 6-star skill gems for their S2 and S3. You want your best attack roll lighter gear that you can get because it rolls so much higher attack rolls. You definitely want to go for attack substats on your lighter gear wherever you can get them. And then of course, if you pull all of this min-maxing off everywhere that you can find to min-max, and then you go in and you pull off all of the RNG and you only end up with 86,000 out of the 91,000 that you needed, right? Now you need to look at your dimensional slate. And dimensional slate, I haven't made a guide about this, but dimensional slate is very inefficient when it comes to epics, okay? I highly recommend against slating anyone besides Baron or Kartia, okay? It's just not worth it when it comes to epics. It costs the same amount. You get a lot less for each stat. So you're wasting your resources every time you slate an epic. But if this gives you access to lighter 3 sets, it is worth your consideration, I think. You don't need to fully slate. You just need to slate enough so that you can pull off that 91,000, right? So first, put a focus on min-maxing your gear, min-maxing everything outside of slate, and then use some resources, use some seeds and lights on finishing out that missing attack power via slate. Now, I understand if plenty of you are discouraged at this point and don't want to go through with this. Don't shoot the messenger here. I just want you guys to be aware of what's going on and what is available to you so that if you choose this is something you want to do. I understand why plenty of people don't think this is fun. A lot of people are fatigued from the amount of effort that they've already put in, and now they see more effort. Don't get too discouraged. Imae is still new. I know this is even 2 weeks after it came out, but it's still new. Stuff will come out where hopefully it's more accessible, or if we gain more power creep over time, it may become more accessible, or the devs might balance it, depending on where the game goes. So we'll see about that. Just don't get too discouraged when you see this and you think it might be a little bit out of your reach. It's not out of reach of all players, so for those players that can do it, that's why I'm making this available. And regarding the teams in the background, as I already mentioned, Karu's S3 just buffs a higher attack power than Cookie or Stella are going to be able to buff, but Stella and Cookie rely on less RNG. So it's just you're trading more investment and optimization to be able to pull off a kill that relies less on RNG. However, you can clearly see there's no crit buff on either of these teams, so you then need to deal with Kartia not critting. So you can compensate for that by putting orange crit gems on her S2 instead of healing received, which again then increases the stat requirement to pull this off. So not good either way. It's going to be a lot of effort, but I definitely think that the end result is worth it. So hopefully this is able to help somebody out there that wants to go down this road.